thegearnetwork.com.
Hello everyone, John Cimino here, aka JC Money, and I'm welcoming you officially to the second episode of Turnbuckle Talk Radio right here on the Gear Radio Network. And I just want to say thank you first and foremost to all the listeners who tuned in last week and gave Turnbuckle Talk a lot of love and a lot of support and a lot of feedback. And I'll tell you what, we got a big one for you today. Today, Gabriel Soul and Pat G are going to talk about independent wrestling from Riverworks Wrestling, Empire State Wrestling, IWF, also from the Sanctuary Stunt Studio. Brutal Bob Evans talks to the guys here, so it's going to be pretty good, as well as a phone call from yours truly. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to kick it off right now. Turnbuckle Talk Radio is in your ear hole right now. This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all shapes and sizes, it's your boy, you know what it is, Mr. Gabriel Soul, alongside Pat G. The G stands for gangster. Pat, tell him what's up.
What's up? We have a jam-packed show for you guys today. We talk ESW, we talk IWF, we talk Riverworks Wrestling, we talk Sanctuary. We have an interview with Brutal Bob Evans from Ring of Honor.
Are you going to give them the whole menu right then and there? Because you just did.
I just did.
You gave them the whole menu. I actually gave them the whole menu actually online, so I really can't complain. But anyway, before that even starts off, you are listening to Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast, the TTRP, baby. Back in the business. You know what it is. As you hear my phone going off, that's probably JC Money, because he didn't answer his phone. And it is JC Money.
Of course.
He's a jerk. And he sends me a download of something. It's probably something racist. Because I left him a racist. Yep, I told you. I sent him a racist comment saying he didn't answer the phone because he's Hispanic. And he's probably cooking beans and rice.
And he sent you rice and beans.
He sent me a picture of rice and beans. He said, you weren't wrong, though, LOL. And damn, that looks really good because I'm super hungry right now. But Hispanics can cook, man. Yo, that rice and beans, man, off the chisane. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again. Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast. We got a great show for you, as Pat G already gave you the whole kit and caboodle.
Well, you gave him the kit and caboodle online.
Shut up, Pat G.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You know what? I want to thank everybody out there that listened to or downloaded our first episode.
Yeah.
On the Gear Network.
Yes.
Our return, Gear Network putting us back on the air, and just hundreds of people hitting the listen button, hitting the download button, welcoming us back to the airwaves.
Yeah, which is awesome, which is completely awesome. But without further delay, let's jump into the meat and potatoes, baby. Listen, this was a great weekend for wrestling. And that's kind of like the topic of today's show as well, is indie wrestling shows and the growth of such.
Yeah, there were so many around.
Yeah.
Whether you were in New York, whether you were in PA, whether you were in other states, down south or whatever, there were indie wrestling shows all over this past weekend.
There was. Also, just to let you know, anybody else listening to this show that's not in the area that we're in, please, by all means, send us the results of all of the shows. We'll definitely promote it. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. This is Turnbuckle Talk Radio. You know, we promote the wrestling shows. As soon as I'm back on the road and as soon as I'm back to, actively wrestling again, I'll be promoting all these different companies and shows that I'm on and with. So definitely send me results, please. Gabriel _Soul at AOL.com or Facebook, Gabriel Jones. But anyway, let's jump right in. This weekend, Pat G was in Pennsylvania. I was still in Buffalo. A lot of shows going on. The show that Pat G was at, we'll talk about a little bit later. I was at Riverworks this weekend. Buffalo Riverworks. Great show, great outing. It was just an awesome show. And JC Money's calling me.
You know what? Go ahead.
Let's answer.
Put him on. Just put it on speaker because it will go.
I am. JC Money, how are you, sir?
Oh, what's going on?
Not a thing. You're interrupting our podcast right now as you are live on the Turnbuckle Radio Podcast.
Oh, hey, wonderful. I'm glad I can be a part of it, impromptu or not.
Yeah. You kind of...
I'm calling Turnbuckle Talk Radio, apparently.
You are, yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it is.
I'm talking to my daughter.
She's like, Dad, what are you doing?
You totally were not wrong.
Yeah, I know.
I was eating rice and beans.
Yes.
I ain't gonna why.
Yes, I honestly did explain to the listeners that the reason why you interrupted our podcast was because you were eating rice and beans. And I left a racist voicemail on your voicemail. And I didn't care, but apparently it was true, so it wasn't racist.
Yeah, well, whatever. We have fun. We play the race card at times. I believe at the last terrestrial episode you had, I made a joke about you not being about your age and how you're old, but you don't look it because you're black and black don't crack. So.
Yeah, that was funny. I did listen to Talking Wrestling. It was great. It was quite funny as well. But we were just about to go over the wrestling shows, and basically the topic for today is independent wrestling shows and the growth of such. Since we have you on right now, we'll ask you a couple of questions really quickly, and then we'll kick you off because we're gonna keep our show to ourselves. Since you have so
fine.
many.
I don't need to know the deets until you actually send it, and I can post it, and then I listen to it while I'm at work to escape the people I work with. So,
not a problem. So, with
oh wait, I'm this big tough wrestler guy. Never mind.
So, with what we talked about last week, OSPW closing, there are a lot of shows that are actually opening as well. So, with one door closes, there's like 3 that open. If you had to give advice to any of the new shows opening up, there are Riverworks is a newer show. There are only 3 shows in. Let me see. There are 2 shows in. 2 shows, yeah. 2 shows in, Riverworks. ESW is branching off in the Jamestown area. They're a new show. They're only 1 show in. They're about to do another second show now. What advice would you give as a vet to these up-and-coming promoters and what they would need to do?
I'm sorry, you kind of broke up a little bit. You said like advice to them?
Yes. What advice would you give to an up-and-coming promoter and showrunner to have their show grow or prosper?
Don't book Shindy.
Okay. So for the listeners that are listening, what is Shindy? They may not understand that.
What is Shindy? Shindy is, pretty much the living, breathing definition of what you broke down during the OSPW segment, where you last week's episode where you said scared money won't make money. It's the living, breathing definition of that. Mm-hmm. When you do not spend money, and as part of that, you do not make money and you do not pay the talent, and the talent that is working, and I use that term very, very loosely, is not working very well and doesn't care that they get paid because they're just living the dream, brother. That's Shindy. So don't book that. Okay. But as far as like the new promotions go, I don't really know a lot about Riverworks to speak about it. I do know Blackjack from his time in NEW and our time together in OSPW. Always got along with him. So I don't have a bad thing to say about him. Mm-hmm. I know some people like to throw more gasoline on the fire when it comes to him for whatever reason, but I don't really know it. He's kind of more out of my area code, and he's always been pleasant to me. So from what I can tell, just from seeing pictures and videos posted on YouTube, it looks, Riverworks looks like it's a nice setup. Mm-hmm. They had Shane Douglas on there, I think, one of the 2 shows they did.
This show just passed.
And that was pretty cool, but I haven't really seen enough or heard enough about it to really give an honest opinion on it. So I would say ESW right now, and I mentioned this on Talking Wrestling last week, as you guys did on Turnbuckle Talk, ESW is really the mecca in your area. Yeah. They are the proverbial WWE to OSPW's TNA. You know what I mean? Yep. And that's not slamming the OSPW or anything like that. It's just it's a fact. It's a fact. You can look at it. You can look at the draws. You can look at the numbers. You can look at the talent. You can look at the intake. You can look at the fan excitement, and it's just a totally different animal out there. So as far as advice to any aspiring promoter, get in contact with the ESW promoter, Brett, who's a real good guy. Yeah. And find out, pick his brain. I wouldn't recommend running against him because that would be stupid. But if you could pick his brain to obviously growing and blossoming, I mean, why wouldn't you want to pick the brain of one of the best? Honestly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It'd be stupid to do otherwise.
Yeah. Well, JC, we thank you for that. We truly thank you for calling in. You know, even though we don't usually take call-ins. And
imagine that.
Yeah, I know, right? Podcast taking a call in.
I'm gonna have to have you guys on, or maybe just you, so Pat G. You shut up, Pat G.
Exactly.
But I might have to have you guys on a Talking Wrestling at some point before the season finale, just to kind of shoot the breeze, especially about as OSPW WrestleFest comes up.
Yeah.
Closer and closer. I want to get your guys' insight, because you guys have been there, in the past 5 years a lot more than I have. So
true.
You really know what I should be looking for, and you just want to kind of pick your brains on the product now, as opposed to the product that I remember from 5 years ago, which wasn't very good. So
cool. With that'd be awesome. We can always come out there. We can do a lunch date, get a garbage plate, chill out, talk some wrestling. Love it.
Yeah, either that, or because I don't like you, maybe you could just call in, because I have that ability. So how about that?
I hate you. Well, all right, so thank you. We're going to get back to the podcast. Thank you for calling in. We truly appreciate it.
All right, my man. I will talk to you. Take care, guys.
Sounds like a plan.
Bye.
JC Money, ladies and gentlemen, interrupting the podcast, but it was a good segue. You know what I'm saying? Very good segue. We touched on Riverworks, which he did. Just to piggyback off of what he said, Blackjack is a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Love him, good guy. He's never done me wrong in any way. He's always been a straight shooter with me. So saying you talk bad about Blackjack, in my presence, then we got some issues.
Few times I've met him, he's been real chill, real laid back guy. Like, he's willing to help you if you have questions.
Yes.
He's gonna answer them and give you the best possible answer to help you go forward.
Yes, indeed. He's a good dude. But with the Riverworks show, let's just go over it really quickly. The show started off, Shane Douglas was there. Shane Douglas actually did a seminar.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Which was super cool. Shane Douglas is an awesome dude. He's just super cool.
Yeah.
Can't say anything else about it. He's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. That came from the
a former guest when we were on the radio.
That is true. He did remember it. He said, which every vet says they remember you as soon as you say, "Hey, nice to meet you again. Nice to see you again, sir."
Yeah,
I remember you. Yeah. I bet you do. Anyway, the show started off very great with Jackson Jarvis with Jay Moore versus Jimmy Hollywood Hill. Jackson Jarvis just completely destroyed him. Jackson Jarvis over.
It's Jackson Jarvis.
It's Jackson Jarvis. Next match, I feel as though, and this is early in the show, match of the night.
Ooh.
Match of the night already. Chris Cooper and Angelo Aparte.
Oh, wow.
Chris Cooper, everybody knows Chris Cooper from ESW.
Yeah, former ESW heavyweight champion.
Yeah, he's great guy, great worker. Angelo Aparte is one of Blackjack's trainees. Mm-hmm. Nice looking kid, nice build, very athletic, super athletic. It was a really great match. The only problem is I thought Angelo killed herself.
Oof. That's not good.
Chris Cooper went to the outside. Angelo got the crowd into it, got ready to do a suicide dive. He dove through the ropes and he caught himself on his
rope
bottom mouth portion. Those ropes are unforgiving. They super unforgiving. He did rip his mouth open. Good thing about it is he continued the match. He finished the match.
Oh, wow.
Like, this kid was dedicated, and you got to respect that. It was great work from him from a rookie standpoint. But Cooper did get over with that amazing curb stomp. He just curb stomped him, but like I said last show, vets over rookies because rookies get cocky.
Yeah.
And it's not because of they think they're better. It's just lack of experience.
Of course.
Next match was Paul versus Sal Morocco. Paul is super over. As soon as he came out, everybody's just clapping and going crazy. Unfortunately, Morocco did go over on him. He cheated with a roll-up. Rob Rage from Canada, big guy, with Jay Moore. versus Tim Horner, guy from Ohio. Good looking guy. Mm-hmm. This was a speed versus power match. It was a pretty good match. Horner did beat him with a roll up back to back, which is kind of weird on a show, but nonetheless. Next match was Shane Douglas. Came out, Team Canada came out.
Oh, boy.
Rex, Mr. X, Jackson Jarvis, Rob Riggs didn't come out. Riggs didn't come out. No, he didn't come out with them.
Okay.
I believe somebody else. I don't remember who else came out. I'm sorry. Who was it? Gosh, now I'm gonna be upset. Anyway, I can't remember the fourth person. Anyway, long story short, Shane Douglas came out and was telling the guys, hey, you guys can come to America and do this. They started beating Shane Douglas down. Mm-hmm. Blackjack runs out. Tim Horner runs out. Jimmy Hollywood Hill runs out, saves Shane Douglas. They have an impromptu match which goes to a no decision. Mm-hmm. And Shane takes the mic and says, you know what, guys? You guys want to, do this, then we're going to have a 4-on-4 match July 23rd.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're gonna finish this one for all. So it's Team USA versus Team Canada. Which is going to be a great match. I'm definitely going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
There is a battle royal for the number one contendership for the Riverworks heavyweight title.
I heard there's a possible of Fear being reborn.
Fear reborn. You may see Fear reborn. Maybe. You may see a new Gabriel Soul. But, you gotta be at Riverworks to find out.
Yeah.
Match number 6 was Flash Jordan and Tango Torres. Flash Jordan is the new name of Jordan Lennox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Flash Jordan.
New look, new name.
New name, new look, new everything. Haven't seen him in a while. Looks really good still, Yeah. Flash Jordan and Tango Torres teamed up to go against Yuri Koloff and The Business.
And The Business?
Yeah, The Business. The Business is these two big brutes. Yuri Koloff, everybody knows him.
Of course.
He's a big Russian. Right now, he came out, I guess they civilized him. Just big Russian suit, everything. And The Business is a guy who's all about business. And he took care of business. The crowd, on some reason, loved him, but he hated the crowd. Long story short with that, The Business did beat Flash Jordan. Tango Torres kind of lost sight. Got distracted. At the end, though, Flash Jordan got pissed off and completely decimated Tango Torres.
Ooh.
Yeah. Next match after that was the returning Caitlin Diamond.
Ooh.
Caitlin Diamond returning from Japan.
Yeah, she was last saw Caitlin Diamond was when Jimmy Hart was in town. And she was talking about how she was going on a tour of Japan for a couple of years, for like a year or two.
Yeah. She's back now. She's taking bookings. She went up against Casey Spinelli.
Oh boy.
Serving it up and representing the USA, America. With that being said, Casey did pull out the win.
Ooh.
Yeah, Casey did pull out the win. She did make it happen. I love Casey. That's a shout out to you, Casey, if you're listening. I hope you do listen. I love you. Mwah. I miss you. No, I'm joking. Let me stop. I'm not joking. And last match, main event, was Bill Collier versus Johnny Puma.
For the North American title.
For the North American Riverworks title. Riverworks North American title. Yeah. This was a great match. This was the finals of the tournament. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I was not able to be in the tournament due to the injury. But this was a great match. Puma looked like he was ready to wrestle, and he wrestled Bill Collier. Bill Collier, unfortunately, with being the massive man that he is,
of course,
put Puma in his place, and turned him into a little kitty cat with that right hand punch, bang, right to the jaw, And 1, 2, 3, Bill Collier is your new Riverworks North American Heavyweight Champion. Great show all around. Crowd was hot. A lot of fans coming up to me asking me, "What am I going to wrestle?"
Yeah,
of course. It's a great time.
Well, to change gears a little bit, ESW was running, not their typical grounds of North Carolina, but they were down in Olean at Good Times of Olean with Turn It Up with special guest Scotty Duhati and the Pope.
And the Pope.
Looking down the card.
Angelo De Niro.
Yes. Unfortunately, as I was in Pennsylvania. You were Riverworks. Neither of us could attend the show, but we're going to run down through the results a little bit anyway.
Yep.
Match number 1 saw Big Time Bill Collier defeating the Pope.
Match number 2 was Mikey Every Night and Steve Gage defeating the returning Vince Balor, Matt Milan, the Top Guns. If you can see me spread my arms out right now, the Top Guns making a return.
Yeah, Matt Milan posted on Facebook a couple hours before the show, and a lot of people got excited for it. So, big shout out to the Top Guns making a return. Match number 3 saw Hellcat defeating Ryan Cassidy.
Match number 4 was Kevin Bennett, one of my favorites, defeating Mike Skyros.
Big Cat Lemmer and Tank Body defeating Plunkett and Super Beast in match number 5.
Match number 6, we saw a 4-way match. Michael McKinger, Merrick, Jerk Cockins, and Andrew
Cravata,
whoever that is.
One half of the Oliver Street Express.
That's who that is.
Yes.
I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
I really didn't. Forgive me. But Michael Kinger did pull out a win over that 4-way match.
Match number 7 saw the veteran Brandon Thurston defeating a debuting Nighthawk for ESW.
Yeah. Now let's pause for a second on this one, because there is a Nighthawk. There was a Nighthawk, should I say, in the Western New York area.
I don't know if this is the same Nighthawk.
I doubt it. I truly highly doubt it.
Based on Facebook reactions and posts,
Jonathan Ash did say something. He did. That was hilarious.
That night, I believe it was that Nighthawk.
It couldn't have been.
I don't know.
Couldn't have been.
I don't know.
Couldn't have been.
Maybe not the person that we know that dons that.
No.
Dons Nighthawk. But I know there were Facebook posts saying Nighthawk was making his ESW debut.
Right. I doubt it was Nighthawk, though.
I don't know.
I doubt it. Anyway.
The only way we'll know is that...
Anyway, Jonathan Ash, you email me. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna email you guys on the 40,000 Facebook post.
We need to find out the truth.
I need to find out if this was the real Nighthawk or somebody else from somewhere else. But anyway, match number 8, the main event was the ESW heavyweight title, Will Clarician and Scotty 2 Hotty. Now, I know this was a great match because Will Clarician is awesome. Scotty 2 Hotty still has it, man.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
really does. But unfortunately, Will Clarician being the champion that he is, it looks like he retained.
Yes.
Which is a great thing. Next up, another show we were unable to make it to. I tried, and I decided way too late on that Friday.
Yeah.
It was IWF.
Brockport Brawl.
Yes. Of course, Pat G was on the road on his way to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I was at the time that this show was going on. The show I was booked on was going on.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah, you were in the Sanctuary, which, like I said, we'll get to in a second. But Pat.
Well, looking at running down the IWF Brockport Brawl card, match number 1 saw Jay Flyer defeating Ryan Cassidy and Rob Sweet in a triple threat match.
Now, just to talk about that match, or talk about one person in particular, Jay Flyer, the bastard that injured me. I'm joking, Pat. I mean, he was the reason why my knee hurt.
Yeah.
He didn't do it though.
Yeah,
he didn't do it though.
It was kind of he was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, because I think I was misdiagnosed before when I injured this leg, and the doctor said there was nothing wrong, but he wanted to do exploratory surgery, and I was like, "You can kick rocks.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna let you just cut me open and look around if you want to."
Kind of.
No, the MRI doesn't say.
Peek.
Yeah, the MRI doesn't say something's wrong. Then nothing's wrong. Yeah. So I think he misdiagnosed me, and that was the bastard. But I think it was just hanging there by a thread, and at that certain time, Jay Flyer, went for a move and hurt myself. So, Flyer, when you're listening to this, I'm joking with you. Don't start crying again like you did.
I will say, as a preset to match number 2, originally it was supposed to be the IWF Tag Team Champions of Matic and Hellcat defending against Maximo Suave and Chris Caden. Defiance. Unfortunately, Chris Caden was not cleared to compete, so everybody involved ended up in singles matches.
Okay. So with that being said, match number 2 was Maximo Suave, one of my boys. I haven't spoke to you in a while, Maximo. Hit me up. Defeated Matic.
Yes.
Matic is an up and coming young lion.
Oh yeah.
He definitely is. He's got that passion. And he definitely can move in the ring. But Maximo Suave, showing that vet skill, did win.
Yeah. And match number 3 saw Hellcat defeating Jeremy Jansen.
Match number 4, Mark House from House Call. We'll definitely get him on the podcast. Definitely check out House Call. Defeating Vince Valor.
Which this seems to lead into match number 5 as Mark House probably running his mouth a little bit.
No, actually, no. No, what happened was, this I know about.
Oh, okay.
Bobby Ocean actually issued an open challenge.
Oh.
And issued an open challenge to the locker room.
Okay.
And Mark House stepped out and said, wait a minute. I just defeated Vince Valor. I can defeat you, too.
Oh, okay.
Bit off a little bit more than he can chew.
Yeah.
Bobby Ocean put the screws to him.
Of course.
So Bobby Ocean defeated Mark House.
Match number 6 saw Terrell Kenneth defeating Dewey in a most likely match that was just big man versus big man.
Yeah, but Terrell Kenneth is a young big man.
Oh, yeah.
And if I was in front of him, corner to corner, I definitely have to, put a game plan together. He's a big guy. I know we had some words on Facebook previously.
Yes.
Where we should have a triple threat match with him, Thomas Brewington, and myself.
Oh,
and I'm definitely with it.
Yeah.
We can make it happen. As long as he knows how to count the lights, because he's going on his back. Match number 7, Frank Burlington defeated Coconut Jones in a best-of-3 falls match.
I believe this was a 3 stages of hell match. According to promotion leading up to the show.
Yeah.
Match number 8 saw Jordan Falco and the Beautiful Bea defeating Rex Atkins and Patsy Blue. This as a result of last month with Rex destroying Jordan Falco with a clothesline, and of course Patsy Blue being in the Rex Atkins, kind of distracting Jordan Falco along the way. Now I'm gonna cut you off because I do know the outcome of this match. The home wreckers of Anthony Gaines and Jet Rebel, as Sanctuary was going out, we'll get into it. The IndyCar Mafia was broken up. Thomas Brewington.
Not broken up.
They were in separate places.
Right.
Places.
Let's get the right wording there.
Thomas Brewington was in Hazleton, PA for Sanctuary.
Yep.
Eric Aminon in his hometown of Brockport.
Which usually happens. There's, different bookings.
Yes. So, Super Beast tags with Eric Aminon against the undefeated homewreckers in IWF. Well, what happened is Super Beast turned on Eric and led to a beatdown of Eric by Super Beast, Gaines, Rebel, and the homewreckers handler manager, Jonathan Ash.
Wow.
This led to Mike Skyros, Terrell Kenneth running out and saving Eric Aminon. So it looks like it's going to be a lead into a war, so to speak, between what they're calling themselves the Buffalo Club versus the IndyCar Mafia.
I like that. I may have to catch that show. Michael Kinger. Michael Kinger's all over the place.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is.
Yeah, Michael Kinger was here. This was a Friday show, and he was at ESW Saturday.
Yes.
That's booking right there. He's definitely, making the trips. Michael Kinger defeated Gavin Glass. That wasn't really a match, though. I'm pretty sure. Gavin Glass weighs like 150 pounds with a 150-pound weight vest on.
This is true. Match number 11 saw the hybrid Sean Carr defeating Kevin Bennett to become the new IWF heavyweight champion.
Yeah, you got to put some respect on his name. The new IWF heavyweight champion.
Yes.
And the special match was Scotty 2 Hotty and Big Cat Lemur, and Scotty 2 Hotty did prevail for that one.
Yes, Scotty 2 Hotty being named the opponent for Big Cat Lemur, as Ron Falco is currently recovering from injuries given to him from Big Cat.
Yeah.
So, but that's the IndyCar weekend recap.
Yeah.
From around the New York area.
So with that being said, we're going down to where Pat G was. And the situation is, Pat G, you were at Sanctuary Wrestling.
I was.
Sanctuary Stunt Studio, I'm sorry.
Sanctuary Stunt Studio.
Yeah, you were at the Sanctuary Stunt Studio. So with you being at the Stunt Studio, there was a seminar.
Yes, there was a seminar.
Brutal Bob Evans.
Yes.
One of the trainers of ROH.
Yes, one of the trainers ROH. I did attend a seminar. Brutal Bob Evans, he is, if you have a chance to attend one of his seminars, go. Because as both me and you attended a seminar with Terry Funk, and his thing was suspend disbelief.
Right.
Brutal Bob Evans was know yourself, know who you are, and be different. If you're on a show, the main thing I took away from Bob Evans was if you're on a show and you're match 4 and the first 3 matches do A, B, and C the same way, the same style, you go in match 4, you change it up. Instead of headlock, takedown, run the ropes, up, jump over, come back, hip toss. Do something different.
Do something different. Get your, don't do the typical stuff. Change it up. If you see the first 3 matches doing body slam, elbow, then change it up. Do drop kick, something different. Drop kick, elbow drop, something, chin breaker, but definitely change things up. But that's what he says in the interview. He basically explains this.
Yeah.
And Pat G, you did this interview.
I did.
And listen, I usually run the interviews. I'm usually the head guy with the interviews. But with this interview right here, I listened to it, and this interview is great. You really did a good job. I got to commend you on this one.
Thank you.
So what we're going to do, we're going to step back a little bit, let you guys listen to this interview that Pat G performed with the ROH trainer and scout, or one of the ROH trainers and scouts, Brutal Bob Evans. So listen to this, and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, John Cimino here for the Gear Radio Network, and you have asked and asked repeatedly, what is up with the app? We know you have one, and you never push it, you never do anything with it. Well, guess what? We got a better one, and it is free. It is absolutely available for you, and there's so much more you can do with it. Visit GearNetwork.com and click Get the App. It's up on the top banner, or if you're feeling really brave, head to GearNetwork.mobapp.at on your mobile phone and your mobile phone's browser, and you can take Gear Network with you wherever you go. Listen to every show on the Gear Network right from the app. You can view all of our social networks in real time. You can read Gear Network and BLTDsports.com blogs in real time, and you can also shop Amazon and help us out and help you out. It is free. Did I mention that? Again, GearNetwork.com or GearNetwork.mobapp.at. Download it right now. Ooh, yeah, it's the Macho Man here. Yeah, talking to you, from, beyond the realm of spectrum. Yeah, all the other greats are, Dusty Rhodes is over there, Roddy Piper right over there. I got Balls and Axel right over there, and we're around the radio. Radio in our faraway land, so we can listen to you, talking wrestling on Gear Network. We want to hear JC talk about wrestling. We want to hear who he's interviewing, some of these young up-and-comers. I want to hear what they're about, and I want to hear them talk about how much of an inspiration the Macho Man really was for him. Dig it. I dig it. Wow, freak out. I'm doing a commercial. Right here, Gear Network, talking wrestling. Listen in, as that Perez guy would say. Dig it. The Talking Wrestling Podcast, every 2 weeks through SummerSlam, here on the Gear Radio Network.
Welcome to another edition of a special Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast. We are here with another special guest, as we are always bringing you guests. But today, we're joined by ROH's Brutal Bob Evans. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, my friend. It's that puts me in good company, so I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk with you today.
Now, with you being a member of ROH, ROH is one of the companies that has been kind of on an up and down the last couple of years. Guys coming in, guys coming out. But you've been one of the constants. With that being said, What do you see ROH's future as in the next couple of years?
Well, I would say that we've been up and down as far as people coming in and out of the roster, but I think that's a good thing. One of the things I'm most proud of is Ring of Honor. We always have when people go and search different grounds or go to seek, better opportunities for themselves, we always leave the porch light on for them. We always leave the door open for them. And we always try to keep a good relationship with all the talent, at least from what I see. That's not my department, but from what I see, it seems like that's what we do. So the last 2 years, especially with our relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, I've seen just a constant increase in awareness, increase in TV ratings, attendance. Things are going quite well. And it seems like whenever somebody moves on to another opportunity, there's always somebody willing to jump in and take their place and fill it more than adequately. So I'm feeling good about the future of Ring of Honor for sure.
Yeah. Well, of course, ROH always changing. That brings me to my next question. Mm-hmm. What changes do you see in the business from when you were a regularly active competitor to now?
Well, I'm actually wrestling more than I ever have lately. So, but it's the biggest thing that I've seen is that there's more opportunities for younger guys. Mm-hmm. There were always opportunities for older guys that were willing to work and willing to travel. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of opportunity for younger guys. There's a lot more events, a ton more live events. I was just talking to Steve Carino about this last week. I said, I've never seen it this busy, even in the Attitude Era. And Steve and I were both wrestling in the Attitude Era.
Absolutely.
And he was doing Ring of Honor. I was doing, ECW. I was doing a ton of stuff for WWE. I was booked as an extra there a ton of times. We were both very busy. And then the independents were on fire, but they're more on fire now. This is the most number of events I've seen. I mean, last week I was just talking to somebody else. I think there were, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, there were 9 shows in New Jersey, just in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
In 3 days. And then there were 11 shows in either North Carolina or South Carolina in 3 days.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And that's just stuff you've probably never even heard of.
Yeah.
So it's been huge. We're here today. In Hazleton, PA.
Yeah. And
then tomorrow we're going to Warsaw, Virginia, to work for my friend Mark Bravura for Fusion Wrestling. And this is how it's been for me, and I travel with Wildman Congo a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's just constantly, we're booked solid till October.
Wow.
As much as we want. We're turning down work. And it's not because we're super popular. It's a lot of young guys are getting themselves out there anyway. I have a shirt that says pro wrestling means doing the drives. And as long as you're willing to do the drives, people are finding tons of work. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Now, with you going around the country doing these seminars and being a head trainer, what do you look for in a potential trainee?
Well, let me clarify. I'm not the head trainer at Ring of Honor. Yeah. I'm one of the Delirious is the head trainer at Ring of Honor. I'm one of the guys who helps out at every single tryout camp.
Yeah.
So I'm also they also allow me to go out and scout talent on the road and make recommendations for guys that might be good at our tryout camps. So I'm sorry, your question was, what am I looking for in a trainee
what do you look for
or a trainer?
Or a trainer. What do you look for in a trainee or a trainer at these seminars that you go around and do, or even shows that you work, that gives you the ability to go back to ROH and say, hey, this is someone we can bring into one of our camps or even for an event?
Well, that's a real good question. The biggest thing I look for in trainees, in other words, young wrestlers doing their thing, and I see a lot more women in wrestling too, which is cool. We're trying to learn it seriously, not just trying to get into this so they can go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I like to see is being coachable, because if you go to any level, if somebody's trying to help you, then you need to show that you're able to be helped. So taking some of the suggestions that we have, and a lot of times I might not know the person very well, so I give them kind of general suggestions about what they can do with their persona, or what they can do with like moves, or trying to connect with the people more. Mm-hmm. So it might be more general advice, but it's still advice that should be taken. They should take that, mold that, and plug it into their whatever they're particularly doing in wrestling. But the biggest thing, if I was going to make a recommendation for somebody in Ring of Honor, and I get that question a lot, which is a good question to ask too, is the biggest thing that Ring of Honor is looking for as far as Delirious' point of view, but this would be my point of view too, is that he's a big fan of anyone who knows exactly who they are and exactly knows how to show that in the ring. Because Ring of Honor is about trying to be, now that we're a TV business as well, we're trying to be larger-than-life people that you want to pay to see.
Of course.
And we're also looking for someone who can make an emotional connection with our audience. Ring of Honor is based on passion. It's based on wrestling. We have the best wrestling in the world, but it's also based on passion. It's based on a Japanese model of fighting spirit. It always has been. And that probably won't ever change. The biggest thing is that you have to be passionate in what you do. You have to be willing to be a team player.
Of course.
You have to be willing to be coachable. You have to do whatever's asked of you. These are things that not everybody is always willing to do. And also in Ring of Honor, you also have to be, if you're a big independent star, you still have to be willing to start out from the beginning again.
Yeah.
I was 17 years in wrestling, and I had to start at the entry level again. So I was basically the CEO of my own company, and then I go into a bigger company, I have to be in the mailroom. So it was an interesting way of attacking it from my point of view and from where I was in my career, but I can say the last 7 years of my career have been the most rewarding of any, just because I've been able to do this on more of a national and North American scope.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for young wrestlers, myself, I'm not one of them. I got into the business about 7 years ago. I came to the validation that I was never going to be a wrestler. But that's okay, because I can apply my talents elsewhere.
Saves a lot of pain on your body, too.
I learned the basics, how to bump, how to do things in that. I'm a referee, I'm a ring announcer, I'm a commentator. I dabbled in managing.
Sure.
For someone that maybe comes to a seminar that they're training to wrestle, but they get to a point where, okay, it's not going to be for them. Because a lot of people do get to that point.
Absolutely.
What's your advice to them people that they want to be in the business, but they have to go a different direction like I did?
The biggest thing I can teach them is, I think you did it the right way. Like, you took a few bumps, you learned a few things in the ring, and you said, it's not for me. Maybe I don't have that athletic gift, but I have this other gift as in a passion for wrestling. We have plenty of people that work in Ring of Honor. I've seen plenty of people on the independents that put a ton of value back into the business by being, like you said, ring announcer, referee, somebody who runs behind the scenes, runs gorilla position, runs the music, runs production. I've seen guys add to the booking. I've seen guys help people with their gear. I've seen, my buddy Sarat, Sasha Banks' fiance, was a very good professional wrestler as Kid Mikaze. He had a lot of years in, and was really a very good wrestler. But he wasn't that big of a guy, and I don't think he was, at the time, I don't think he was what NXT was looking for, and then he got a really bad concussion. But he was always making his own gear, and he was always making gear for the boys, too.
Yeah.
So he decided and he made Sasha's gear, and he decided that he would ply that trade as a seamstress. And so people were wearing his stuff at WrestleMania this year.
Oh, wow.
And the next night, Enzo and Cass were wearing some of his stuff. And Sasha, the Eddie Guerrero tribute gear, was all my buddy Sarat's. And so I said, hey, man, he used to make ice cream for a living at an ice cream shop. And I said, this beats making ice cream, and you beat us all at WrestleMania. I said, don't ever be resentful or sad. And, And, he's got a pretty good little wife to be there that a lot of people, I'm sure, would be happy to be in his shoes on that end, too.
Absolutely. But, I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Absolutely. So, I think there's a place for anyone who has a passion to serve the wrestling industry. There's always going to be a place for them. And you know how it is in independent wrestling. There's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to contribute any ideas or anything, it might not necessarily on the booking end, but if there's other stuff to do, and you know how it is. It's like any other community business, like community theater type stuff. The more you contribute, the more responsibility you get, and pretty soon you're practically running the place. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So,
well, we're going to wrap up here, but do you have any final words for the listeners or any final advice for anybody that listens to this podcast that's in the business?
No, just really the best advice I have is just be a good listener, try to be open-minded. Like I said, the last 6 or 7 years, the young guys have taught me a lot, and I've been able to be open-minded and see another side of wrestling. So just remember, old and young alike can always teach you something. Be coachable, be on time, and don't hurt yourselves. Try to maximize safety and minimize risk.
Absolutely. Well, to wrap up, we're going to let you plug whatever you have to plug, contact info, Facebook, however people can get in touch with you to set up seminars.
Easiest thing is Facebook.com/BrutalBobEvans. Also, I have a Hangs with Bob seminar page. It'll just pop right up as soon as you hit that. At Brutal Bob Evans on Twitter. People kind of dig my Facebook. It has words of wisdom on it, whatever. I just share thoughts with them, share my personal feelings, mostly about wrestling, once in a while about life. Just if you can't add me as a friend, just follow me and you can get all my stuff. And I look forward to meeting some new friends on the online, on the social media.
Definitely. Thank you for sitting down with us today. That's Brutal Bob Evans of ROH. This has been a Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast exclusive.
Pat, that was a great interview. Good job. Just to let you guys know that interview was actually sponsored by the Turnbuckle Talk Radio Gear Network store through Amazon. If you visit gearnetwork.com/Amazon and click on any of the banners, it'll take you right into your account. You can sign right in. I've already done it myself. You can sign right into your account. You can do everything you can do shopping through Amazon. As you shop, you would do it normally as you would. The only difference is that when you click on the Gear Network link through the Gear Network app, it actually kicks back to the Gear Network, which helps pay for the bills, helps pay for the Turnbuckle Talk Radio podcast, keeps us on the air so that you guys can listen to us, keeps everything going smooth, So definitely check it out. GearNetwork.com/Amazon. Click on any of the banners. It'll get you right in, kick it back. You know how it is. All right, so with that being said, like I said, great interview, Pat G.
Yes.
Brutal Bob Evans sounds like an awesome guy.
Amazing. He's just very chilled and laid back, but you can come up to him if you need advice, he's going to give it to you.
Yeah, that's super cool. We may have to book him for one of the upcoming shows that we have in this area. I may have to talk to Thomas Brewington.
Yes.
He's got an in with him, and see if we can get a seminar, ROH seminar up here.
That definitely would be a plan, especially with some of the young talent in the area.
Yeah, you know what? Well, with OSPW closing, a lot of that roster, may be out of a spot in wrestling itself. So maybe they can get signed to ROH.
This is true.
Because Brutal Bob has an in for ROH. Yeah. He's one of the trainers and scouts.
And he's, like he said in the interview, he said what he's looking for.
Yeah. And that was complete sarcasm. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You didn't know that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Sanctuary Stunt Studios. Pat G, this is your spot right here, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. You got to tell me what happened.
I went down with Thomas Brewington. He, along with the project he started called Project Wrestling, along with the Sanctuary Stunt Studio, made an event called Invictus. Most of the card was made up of the gentleman that attended the Brutal Bob seminar.
Ooh, wish I would have went then.
If you attended the seminar, you were most likely going to be put on the card.
Right.
The running on the card in a pre-show match before, as Sanctuary Stunt Studio broadcast on YouTube. Pre-show match.
Which they usually do because they're live. I watched their show. They do a live YouTube viewing, which is awesome.
In a pre-show match, saw Marcy defeating Angus with just a normal tornado DDT off the top rope, as this is one of the matches that I ended up being officiating in the evening.
Cool.
Now, in the opening match of the show, the live stream championship for Sanctuary Stunt Studio was defended by D3 retaining over Elder Martin. Now, Elder Martin, he was a Mormon. It's a Mormon gimmick.
Yes. I remember seeing him. Yeah, he comes out with the book bag and everything.
Yes. Yeah. Comes out with the book bag. Great young talent. Both men attended the seminar. A couple of years under the belt. But the champion D3 retaining over Elder Martin with a corkscrew handstand elbow drop. Retaining the title.
Corkscrew handstand elbow drop.
Yes, off the top rope. That was the finish.
I gotta rewatch that match.
Yeah, he went into the top, had his hands and head on the top turnbuckle, came off like he was going to do a splash, and corkscrewed into an elbow drop.
Ooh, sounds pretty cool.
Now the next match, a match that I was kind of front row right as I was in the ring, Kenny Bangle defeating Anthony St. James with a Impact Driver DDT. Another match where Kenny Bangle having 4 years in the business, Anthony St. James only wrestling 3 months. So he's relatively new. This was kind of Anthony St. James, as my co-host says, veteran knowledge over youth and lack of experience.
That's what I always say.
Anthony St. James made one mistake too many. Kenny Bangle took advantage, hit him with the DDT. The next match saw Tim Hughes defeating Luke Babcock. Tim Hughes, one half of ROH's Tough Man Inc. with Brutal Bob Evans. Simple roll-up, 1, 2, 3. Grabbing the tights, unfortunately. Mitchell Vallon defeating...
Did you ref that match?
I did not.
Okay, I was going to say, because if he cheated, you probably ref that match.
Mitchell Vallon defeating Aaron Bradley. I did ref this match, and Mitchell Vallon did cheat. Unfortunately, I did not see it. 1, 2, 3. Yes, as I'm getting laughed at. What's so funny with me reffing matches that there's cheating in? I recall there was a match that you cheated in, and I reffed, and you ended up winning a championship.
I'm just saying, I called it even before you said it.
I had to give it to you since you called it. I had to. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
Oh, God.
The next match saw the Concrete Jungle, ROH's Wildman Congo, and House of Hardcore's Action Ortiz defeating the Amazing Graysons with a belly to back into a slice bread number 2 and a top rope splash. The Amazing Graysons, one of the rising tag teams at Sanctuary. Mm-hmm. In the next match, Raina Sky defeating Ali Rex with a vicious headbutt, and then a
barrage of headbutts as she was on the ground. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That was a barrage of headbutts.
Yeah, it was a barrage after Ali Rex kicked out of the Enziguri that seemed to finish it, and she kicked out. And then in your main event of the evening for the Sanctuary Stunt Studio Heavyweight Championship, the elite athlete Mike Orlando defended his championship against Brutal Bob Evans and the Project Thomas Brewington to retain. Originally, this match was only supposed to be Thomas Brewington and Brutal Bob Evans, as there was a promo earlier in the evening as Sanctuary owner John Trotsky came out, thanked Thomas Brewington, thanks Bob Evans for putting together the event and everything. Mm-hmm. But, of course, the champion, Mike Orlando, coming out and saying he's the champion, he needs to be involved, it should be him taking on Bob Evans.
Right.
They turned it into a three-way. The end saw Thomas Brewington get knocked out of the ring, and that led to the Sky High by Mike Orlando on Brutal Bob to hit the 1, 2, 3. And that is Sanctuary Stunt Studio.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said,
are you recovered from your
no
from your calling it?
That was hilarious as hell. We're gonna take a break. Got to pay some bills, get some lights paid, get some light bills paid. We'll be right back. So stick around. We got some more podcasting for you.
Hey, Don, how's it going?
Living the dream. I'm actually just getting ready to do this commercial.
Oh, you mean the commercial where I tell our listeners to tune into Gear Network every week to listen to our show, Get Ready America? That one?
Yeah, John, that's the one.
They can also listen to us talk about news, sports, whatever's on our minds, that.
And a little what's on our listeners' minds, but they're just too nice to say it.
Well, that, Dawn, is a real humdinger.
Humdinger.
Come join us this and every week for Get Ready America exclusively on the Gear Radio Network.
And the Gear Network app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I am Ryan Wolf.
it's Mr. Perez.
And I have a question for you, Perez.
What's your question?
Do you like to listen to people talk about sports?
No. Of course I like sports and listening to people talk about sports.
Well, guess what? I have the perfect solution for you.
Solution for me?
There's a podcast on this very network.
This network?
Every single week you can hear it.
Really?
New content, latest and breaking news. We talk about baseball, football, hockey, basketball, soccer, UFC, whatever you want to talk about.
So sports in general.
They talk about sports in general. You got it.
I like
you
it.
know the dictionary.
I like
very,
it.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
I must say, tune in. We are better live than dead.
You're not.
every single week. You're not going to want to miss it, exclusively here on the Gear Radio Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast, the TTRP. I am Gabriel Soul, again with Pat G. The G stands for gangster. Topic of the show today is independent wrestling. Independent wrestling shows and the growth of such shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last show we talked about promoting the promotion of said independent shows, rise and fall, But this show we're talking about how a lot of shows are closing and a lot of shows are opening up. When one door closes, two more open up. A lot of indie shows happen because of one person has the means to open up a promotion and they don't get what they want, so they take their ball and go home and open up another promotion where they become heavyweight champion of their own promotion. Of course. I've seen it several times. But with that, we're not going into a negative right now. We're going to a positive. Yeah. So with that being said, we pulled a couple of shows up. Just thinking about it really quickly and just to briefly talk about them real quick. Like I said, with the closing of one of the staples in Western New York companies' shows, OSPW closing, there are other shows opening up. In the same area right now, Riverworks. Yeah. Riverworks Pro Wrestling. They're in the Buffalo area. I am one of the roster members. I am on the roster for Riverworks Pro Wrestling. They got Bill Collier, Johnny Puma. They got a lot of young talent, a lot of young guys. Yeah. Dirty Rex Atkins. Who else is there? Jackson Jarvis was just there. Team Canada. Tim Horner out of Ohio. Vermont, Ohio. He's in the Ohio area. I think Vermont or Ohio. But they got a lot of great talent. With that, you definitely want to check out one of their shows. Get there. It's a great venue. For all the alcoholics, they do serve beer. Great food there. Me and Blackjack had a white pizza. Had like tomatoes and olives and spinach and onions. Great food. So definitely check out Riverworks in the Buffalo area, downtown area.
Yeah, right now it's summertime, so Buffalo downtown with Canal Side, and then all the festivals are going to be going on. Riverworks is kind of like right there. So if it's a Saturday and you're hitting up whatever festival or Canal Side, and you're like, hey, a wrestling show, let's go check it out. Yeah. Boom, it's right there.
Yeah, you can make a full day of it, actually, because this past show, and then we'll get on to the next shows, this past show had, as Riverworks were setting up, and it was going over the Shane Douglas seminar, there was roller derby inside. Wow. Like, the Riverworks show was outside, actually. It was outside this Saturday.
Well, you had a beautiful day for it.
Roller derby was going on, and also, which is funny, there was a judo taekwondo tournament.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why it was funny is because my physical therapist was there. She walked right past me. I'm like, that was my physical therapist.
Like, wait a minute.
What are you doing here? But great show. Definitely get out to Riverworks. Next show for Riverworks is July 23rd. Shane Douglas is making a return for the 4-way match, Team USA versus Team Canada. Definitely be there for the Battle Royal for the #1 contendership. Bill Collier will put his title up against the line. I don't know who else it is.
I will say I have nothing that day, so maybe we'll be doing a live podcast.
We definitely will be there. We may do a live podcast. We'll let you know. Next show is Southern Tier Wrestling.
Yes.
Southern Tier Wrestling is
down in
Jamestown, New York. I know Johnny O is the booker, and Randy Gray is the promoter. They are definitely doing big things. The last Southern Tier Wrestling show was a great show. Yeah. They had a lot of local talent on there.
Had WWE Hall of Famer Nikolai Volkov.
Oh, I thought you were going to say The Rock. Sound like you said The Rock for a second there.
No, not The Rock. Not The Rock.
Yes, Nikolai Volkov was on the show. They are doing big things. They got another show coming up. I don't know the actual date as of yet. I don't think it has been announced. But I do know they are booking another show. It's planning up. If you're in the Jamestown area, definitely check that show out. They're up-and-coming guys. A lot of good guys. We are starting to see posters for a new company.
Yes.
WrestleSphere.
Yeah.
which looks amazing. And right now they've already announced the main event, which is going to be...
Which for some companies, that's how they get the people in the doors.
Yeah. And with this match, it's definitely something where you definitely want to get them in the doors for this match. Because this match is going to be Bill Collier, big time Bill Collier.
Yeah.
Versus the Last Warrior, Grey Wolf.
Oh, wow. And also looks like Maddock, Sean Carr, Mark House, Ivy Green will be on the card as well. So right now, there you go. You got Western New York talent. You got New York talent.
Yeah, but you said Ivy Green though.
I know you were the CEO of the I Hate Ivy Green tour, but the man's been wrestling for forever. He's got knowledge.
I hate him though. I hate you, Ivy Green. I hate you.
I'm sure Ivy Green hates you too.
He does. We tell each other that every single time we see each other. If you could see my face, I hate you, Ivy Green. Anyway, another up and coming show. Who's there are a couple of shows in, about 3 or 4 shows in. IWF. We just covered IWF actually in the beginning of the show. IWF in Brockport. They're up and coming show. They're doing their thing right now. IndyCar Mafia is there. Super Beast, the Home Wreckers. Who I got to give a shout out to the Home Wreckers. They are an up and coming team where they're making some steam right now, and a lot of people are starting to jump on that. Bandwagon of, the Home Wreckers.
Yeah.
So
Vince Valor is there, Mark House.
Yeah.
Sean Carr, the new IWF heavyweight champion.
Kevin Bennett, who was the previous champion. So you got a lot of talent out there. You got a lot of shows. There's a reach of independent wrestling all over the place. If you're into wrestling, if you are a true fan, like you say you are, if you're listening right now, you're a true fan, you definitely want to get out there to any one of these shows if you're in the area. Hell, get out to all of them if you can.
I will say this. I know it's about a 4.5 hour drive from Buffalo.
To where?
To Hazleton, PA.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, do they stream live on YouTube? Yes, they do. But compared to pictures and watching video on YouTube, there is nothing like walking into the Sanctuary Stunt Studio live and in person for the first time.
Yeah.
Because the moment you walk in, you just feel this energy that's like you can't explain.
Yeah.
Okay? And I will say this, it's in a church.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's why Sanctuary. That's why Sanctuary.
And if you wrestle a match and your shoulders get pinned to the mat 1, 2, 3, you're not only taking the 3 count, you're looking at Jesus. Jesus is looking down at you as your shoulders are pinned to the ground.
That's funny. All right, so with that being said, definitely check out wrestling. Definitely check out, all these shows. I mean, if there's any shows in your area, like I said, give us an email. We'll definitely shout it out. But this is a time where indie wrestling is growing. As you can see, NXT in the WWE. It's an awesome segue, too, to the next segment. WWE with NXT, they're jumping on the indie scene right now.
Yeah, they absolutely.
Because they know that's where it's coming from. The independent scene is the minor leagues to the majors.
Yep.
Where else do you get it from?
Yeah.
It's just like in JC Money can, attest to this because he's a baseball fan, with the, A's, double A's, triple A's.
Yep.
And majors.
Even in your lower, like just normal spring training leagues, which is like like a single A ball plus double or whatever, where you're like 17 and 18-year-old prospects are.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, Luke Harper came from, Rochester area, he's from the indie scene.
Pepper Parks,
who's now Braxton Sutter.
Yes.
Braxton Sutter, the independent scene right now is on fire. And if you don't check it out, you're going to miss a lot of things.
And as Brutal Bob said in the interview, whatever state you're in, wherever city you're in, there's a chance there's multiple independent shows running.
Yeah.
Like he said, New York, he was just in New Jersey a weekend ago, and they had 9.
Yep.
North Carolina had 11.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy. It's crazy. But into that segue, like I said, WWE, Smackdown.
Yeah, SmackDown's going live.
I think this should have happened a long time ago.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it should happen
so long ago.
And they're going with the brand extension again. They are going to separate the shows.
They have to.
I think they should as well. They have way too many. They have too big of a roster to try and condense these guys down to one show. And because then you're going to be like, oh, John Cena's got to be on both shows, or he's got to be on both shows. You know, you got Dolph Ziggler wrestling.
This is my thing with this. Okay, SmackDown should have went live years ago. I'm glad they are going live.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, you're going to do a brand extension. Cool, fine. You need to take 4 or 5 guys. Those are your key guys on each show.
Go ahead, 4 or 5 guys.
4 or 5 guys. They need to be key to their shows.
Mm-hmm.
Your champions, whoever they are, whether they can interchange.
Right.
Okay.
But do you think they're going to break champions up? Do you think they're going to have a separate champion for SmackDown?
No, because for when the first brand extension they did that, and they ran into the problem of somebody going, I don't want to work, I want to be the guy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And with them incorporating the 2 championships together now, with the WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
And then the Heavyweight Championship, why make 2 separate titles again when just 2 years ago you bring it into one?
Right.
Like,
I do believe that they should merge the Intercontinental and the United States Championship.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that they should now. It's time.
Especially if you're going to do a brand extension.
Yep.
Or if you're not going to do that, then the IC title's on one, the US title's on the other.
But that's what they did before. That's where the United States title came from.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, they need to merge it because I know a lot of people that are in that teenage age group that are WWE fans,
mm-hmm.
they only remember the U.S. title being WWE.
Right.
Me and you, we remember the U.S. title from WCW.
Yeah.
Okay, so the U.S. title, while the U.S. title in the WWE has a lot of lineage,
mm-hmm.
for you, for me, for other people that are in that age group, for
mm-hmm.
JC, that's WCW.
Yeah. Speaking of WCW, I was on a road trip with one of my boys, Roscoe Black.
Yes.
Long time ago, we first started, and he was talking. You know, we were talking about wrestling in my age, and he said, "You know what?" He's like, "If you would have started sooner, like you would have been in WCW. You'd have been a part of that angle of the WCW." And it kind of was a compliment. It kind of made me sad as well because I started my whole career late. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because it was an awesome way to put that in there. But yeah, WCW, did have the, United States title, but with the brand extension with WWE, I don't know. I would love to see how they're going to do this because they have a huge roster. They have a super huge roster with a great pool to pick from in NXT. So with that being said, how are you going to do this? Because now when you do a brand extension, and you separate these guys, a lot of these guys aren't going to be able to wrestle each other anymore because they are also contemplating doing separate pay-per-views as well. And you're counting the wrestlers. There's way too many, dude. There's still, you got a lot of wrestlers on injured reserve. Also, you got wrestlers in NXT.
Right now, just looking through, just kind of going down the scan, you're anywhere between 80 and 100 total
that are active.
That are on the roster page, and that's just on the roster page. Yeah. That's not counting who's injured, who's an announcer.
What's Victor? His partner. Didn't he get released?
Connor. Yeah.
Yeah, Connor got released. Okay, yeah. No, he's still on the page. No, he's still there.
Huh. I could have swore he did. But
I know he was in trouble, but I thought he got released. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. I mean, I felt it was a good show.
Yeah, no, it was.
I mean, nothing tops the first. Nothing tops your first.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think this one topped it, though. This was funny, especially the whole laughing part. That's going to stay in. But
we'll see.
If it doesn't stay in, Peggy, we're going to have some issues.
Oh, okay.
Huge issues.
You know what? I will keep it in because I do not feel like getting cyclone punched.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, no.
But so basically, Gear Network, Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast. We're here, baby. We're here to stay. Definitely check us out. Download, listen to us at work. When you listen to us at work and you get home and you think about it again, don't forget to go to gearednetwork.com/Amazon. Log into your Amazon page, start purchasing stuff through Amazon page, through the Geared Network's link. Kick back to us. We get to pay some bills. You get to still purchase your stuff that way because you support us. We support you with these great shows. Talking Wrestling with JC Money, Turnbuckle Talk Radio Podcast with Gabriel Soul and Mr. Pat G. What else? Get Ready America.
Yeah.
Great shows on the Gear Network. Definitely check it out.
There's also Better Live Than Dead.
Better Live Than Dead. But definitely check us out. Got any questions? Like I said, hit us up. Gabriel_Soul at AOL.com. You can also hit up my Facebook page, Gabriel Jones or Gabriel Soul. You'll see me there.
At Turnbuckle Talk. At Turnbuckle_Talk on Twitter. Hit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Turnbuckle Talk.
Yep. Hit a Pat Gancheski.
Yeah.
But other than that, anything else you want to talk about, Pat?
No, other than just thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the positive reviews that everybody has given me saying that's great on the numbers and the show was really good. The Sean Carr interview was solid.
Yeah.
I'm like, the overall response from everybody was not what I expected.
It was honestly, shocking that, you guys still support us, and we appreciate that. We truly do. But with that being said, we're definitely going to continue to do our best to give you the best out there. And like I said, if you got anything you want to talk about, hit us up on email. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, Cyclone!
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.